Hello and welcome to the John Ark Show. Today's episode is called How Did Jerry Seinfeld Earn $1 billion? Everybody knows how difficult it is to make a living in the entertainment industry. But despite all of that, comedian Jerry Seinfeld was able to earn an estimated $1 billion. We're going to show you how he did it when so many others failed. Before I begin, I want to encourage you to subscribe, like, follow, and comment on the show, as well as tell you that the show is sponsored by Hollywood is Calling. It's a company which allows you to purchase live calls with more than 100 celebrities. You can purchase a 15-second live call for $19.95 and a 30-second live call for $29.95. So give it a try. It's hollywoodiscalling.com. It makes a great gift for yourself or for somebody you care about. Now let's get started. Millions of people arrive in Los Angeles over the years, hoping to land a job and a career in the entertainment industry. And unfortunately, 99% of them fail and end up taking jobs in other professions. The entertainment industry is famous for breaking people's spirits and destroying their dreams when they realize it's nearly impossible to make a consistent living in the entertainment industry. Jerry once told a story about what it was like to be a comedian in the 70s. He said that when he was a stand-up back then, a lot of the times he would work for food, not money. He would get paid in food. One day he was in New York, just walking around, and he noticed some construction workers. And these guys were having lunch. And then when they finished their lunch, they slowly got up and walked back to their jobs. And he could tell that they were tired and exhausted and they were sort of dragging themselves back, but they got up and they went to work. And it was at that moment that Jerry realized that if these construction workers can get up and go and do what they need to do to put food on the table, then the only way he's going to be a serious comedian is to put in hard work every day. Continue going at it day after day after day, because up until that point, Jerry was doing gigs maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and he felt that just wasn't enough of a commitment. And being inspired by those construction workers, that's what caused him to really take things to the next level. From that point forward, he did. He worked like a beast every day, no matter how reluctant, no matter how tired, whether or not he was in the mood or not. Even if he had no energy, he decided he was going to remain dedicated and committed to writing jokes that day and working on his act every evening. You know, it's interesting because a lot of people look back at his career and they say, Jerry, you are so talented, that you had no choice but to succeed. You were just brimming with too much talent. And he says that wasn't the case at all. He says that he was just relentless. He said that what really separates losers from winners is tenacity. So how much was Jerry earning? Well, reruns of the Jerry Seinfeld show make so much money in syndication, DVD sales, and licensing that it's almost staggering. Since the show ended in 1998, it has made more than $3 billion. It's the most profitable half-hour show ever produced in Hollywood. At the height of Jerry's popularity, he was making $1 million per episode, and he and Larry David split $400 million a year in syndication money. Think about that. That's $200 million each. And Jerry continues to earn that money just from the constant rerunning of the Seinfeld episodes. Jerry also continues to tour as a stand-up comedian. He signed a $100 million deal with Netflix that requires him to do a number of stand-up specials, as well as to produce 24 episodes of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. The deal also includes a development component in which Jerry will develop future potential series or projects for Netflix. Seinfeld took home tens of millions of dollars from Netflix. Hulu has the right to the Seinfeld catalog, so he also makes millions of dollars a year from that service as well. There are years when Jerry makes $50 to $60 million off his various business interests, like touring or special appearances. and this has made him the highest paid comedian in the world. Of that, say 55 million or 60 million a year that he makes, 30 million of that can be just from his stand-up act. You know, one of the key business decisions that Jerry made early in his career was to keep his act clean. The reason that's such an important decision is that it gives Jerry a much broader and greater commercial appeal. There are a lot of channels, networks, sponsors, and advertisers who simply don't want their brand associated with dirty or vulgar languages. Because of that, Jerry has consciously kept his commercial and economic options as broad as possible by deliberately keeping his act very clean. Another really smart strategic move that Jerry made was that he avoided the hedonistic lifestyle that has destroyed so many other people in Hollywood with the consumption of drugs and alcohol, and that has ended so many entertainment careers. It seems like such a common sense thing, but year after year, decade after decade, actors and comedians keep coming to Hollywood and destroying themselves with drugs and alcohol. You could almost make the case that consuming drugs and alcohol is the single worst and most common business mistake that people in the entertainment industry continue to make. There is this flawed thinking on their part, this belief that is so pervasive in the entertainment industry that you have to consume drugs and alcohol just to relax and to improve your creativity. And that is such a fallacy. In reality, drugs and alcohol, they destroy your health, they damage you neurologically, and they end up shorting your career just the way they have for so many other people. That's why if you see Jerry Seinfeld today, he looks 15 years younger than he is. And that's because he seems to take care of himself. He eats properly, avoids making a spectacle of himself with drugs and alcohol. And you know, as far as we can tell, he doesn't hang around with lunatics. He doesn't suffer fools very easily. You know, sometimes you become what you associate with. Another intelligent business decision that Jerry appears to keep making and repeating is that he makes a point of owning all of his assets and all of his property. He has an ownership stake in the Seinfeld show. He owns his traveling comedy tour. He also owns comedians getting cars and coffee. If Hollywood has taught people anything over the years, it's that ownership often means the difference between lifelong prosperity and disappearing into poverty and obscurity once your relevance fades. I once spoke with singer Joan Jett and her manager Kenny Laguna, and Kenny was telling me that one of the reasons that Joan had such a long and successful career was because they had to start their own record company, which means they owned everything. At first, Kenny and Joan tried to get a deal with a major record label just like every other struggling artists did, but nobody would sign them. Not one record company. So they decided to start their own record company to get airplay on radio stations, and they succeeded. After that, they got MTV to start playing their videos in heavy rotation. When that happened, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts became one of the biggest bands of the decade. To this very day, they're able to tour with financial strength that flows from the fact that they own their music and their record company. You know, while Jerry Seinfeld's career was launched by stand-up comedy, it was propelled to even greater heights when Jerry got the show on network television. After that, Jerry produced his Comedians Getting Coffee show online, and then did a massive deal with Netflix to bring those shows to the streaming world. The beauty of Netflix is that it allows Jerry to be seen by hundreds of millions of people all around the world on their smartphones, tablets, or big TV screens at any time of day or night. You no longer have to wait for a specific day or time to see Jerry on network television. You can stream him anywhere at any time, and that has made him bigger than ever in both pop culture and financially for the foreseeable future. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.